My aunt refused to let me stay at her house. When I got into uni, now that I've worked hard, she wants me to pay for her son's college. I got my first real job 3 months ago, after working fast food to survive. I live in a tiny flat 2 cities away because I go to an international school, and rent eats half my paycheck. When I got my first salary, I gifted it to my parents. It wasn't much, but they appreciated it. That happiness lasted 10 minutes. My mother shared the news in our family group chat. Within seconds, my aunt called. The same aunt who hadn't cared about my existence for years, suddenly asking detailed questions about my job and salary. Then came her real agenda. "Your cousin is going to college," she announced. "As family, you should contribute to his tuition fees." Family supports family. This was the same aunt who refused to let me stay with her 2 years ago when I got into this school. My mother had begged, explaining how hard it would be for a teenager alone in a new city. "We don't have space," she'd said, despite living in a 4-bedroom house with 3 people. My parents had to buy me a flat instead, and I've been working to cover rent ever since. Now she wanted money from me. "My son worked so hard to get into college," she continued. "You should have sympathy for him." The irony was suffocating. My aunt earned more in a month than I made all year, and my cousin spent most nights gaming, barely putting effort into school. With the little patience I had left, I explained that most of my salary went to basic needs like rent, food, and saving for my own tuition fees. "I can barely take care of myself," I said. "If you can do all that, you can donate some money," she snapped back. "Don't be selfish." I hung up on her. Minutes later, my mother called, confused about why her sister was complaining about me. I explained everything, including how Aunt had refused to help me 2 years ago. My mother went silent for a moment, then said, "I'm blocking her. You focus on your studies and your job." My aunt realized she'd been blocked and started pestering other relatives in the family chat, guilt-tripping anyone who wouldn't donate to her son's education fund. The messages were brutal, calling people selfish, claiming we didn't understand family values, suggesting we'd all forgotten where we came from. 2 days later came our quarterly family dinner at my parents' house. I arrived early, and when relatives started showing up at 5 p.m., my aunt walked in with her fake smile. I avoided her until dinner, when we sat at the long table for our traditional catch-up. One of my uncles asked about school results. My cousin went first, announcing he'd scored 26 out of 45 on his IB exams, a bare pass. Then my turn. I got a 42. The table erupted in applause. My aunt's face twisted with rage. She stood up dramatically. "This is exactly why you should help your cousin. You're doing well, and he deserves the same opportunity." She turned to the other relatives. "Surely we can all contribute to help family succeed." I remembered the advice from online forums I'd read during my sleepless nights dealing with her harassment. Time to set boundaries publicly. "I'll donate the exact amount you contributed to my school fees when I needed help," I said clearly, making sure everyone heard. Which, if you recall, was nothing. "And if my cousin needs money, I'd be happy to share my employer's contact information so he can apply for a job." The table went dead silent. My aunt's face transformed from fake sweetness to pure rage in seconds. She started screaming about how my mother had raised a heartless and stupid child, claiming I was now old enough to be a breadwinner for the family. A family that, she emphasized, included her household. That's when my father stood up. "Outside, now," he said, his voice cold. He didn't get her to another room before the cursing started. We could all hear him yelling about her entitlement, and how she had no right to depend on a teenager she'd refused to help. My aunt stormed back in, grabbed her purse, and yanked my cousin toward the door. "Talk some sense into your child," she screamed at my mother. "Anyone who thinks like them should be disowned." The door slammed. My grandmother started laughing. "That woman has always been delusional." Several relatives blocked her that night. Some called and yelled. My aunt kept ranting in the group chat about how my scholarships should go to my cousin instead.